President Donald Trump hosted his first political rally in months, ignoring public health warnings around the pandemic. But his intended show of political force fell flat as he addressed a much smaller than expected crowd. And in spite of criticism leveled against him for his handling of the coronavirus, Trump defended his record.
Despite the fact that I have done a phenomenal job with it, I shut down the United States to very heavily infected, but all people from China in late January, which is months earlier than other people would have done it, if they would have done it at all. I saved hundreds of thousands of lives. We don't ever get even a mention.
Trump tried to explain away the crowd size by blaming the media for scaring people. He also insisted that protesters were keeping people out of the arena. And outside that rally, Trump supporters squared off with Black Lives Matter protesters.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Shouts of Black Lives Matter and prosecute the police met with chants of USA and all lives matter. The protests were largely peaceful, but dozens of armed National Guard troops were present and police deployed irritant gas. When protesters blocked an intersection, a man with a Trump t-shirt got out of a truck and used pepper spray on them. Police arrested one woman who was sitting cross-legged on the ground. 15 years ago, Randall Pinkett was the first African-American to win Trump's reality show, The Apprentice. After the show, he delved into politics, previously working with now Democratic Senator Cory Booker when he was mayor of Newark, New Jersey. With racial relations at the forefront, Pinkett is now speaking out about President Trump, and he spoke to us earlier from Somerset, New Jersey.
I had the opportunity to work for the Trump organization after winning season 4 of The Apprentice. And, you know, what I observed then is what I observe now, which was a lack of understanding, a lack of insight, a lack of appreciation for matters that relate to diversity. And when I think about Donald's approach to the rally, which was originally planned for Juneteenth, the commemoration of the final freedom of enslaved Africans in America, only reflecting his blind spot, but also the blind spot of those within his inner circle, to not know that that was an inappropriate day for a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the site of what was a decimation of a thriving Black community. And so it comes as no surprise to me, and I believe that at this juncture, given Donald's history on matters of race and racism and racial insensitivity, it doesn't come as a surprise to many others as well.
This is all happening at a time when, as a result of the killing of George Floyd, we're seeing people of all races in the streets calling for change, not only to the police, but of course to the judicial structure, to the prison system, and so right on up. You're painting a very unflattering picture of the U.S. president. What role could he be playing at this time, and a role that I'm going to guess you imagine he is not playing at this time?
Yes, John. It's a very difficult time across our globe when we look at the situation with George Floyd, his murder. My heart goes out to his family, and we are at a crossroads on matters relating to race and racism. And now, perhaps in our lifetimes, more than ever before, this is the moment for a leader who can be the comforter in chief, but can also be a leader in healing, in fostering dialogue, in creating greater understanding, in bridging the racial divides that have divided us for 400 years and longer. And not only is Donald ill-equipped to play that role because of his blind spots, because of the blind spots of those within his inner circle, but Donald hasn't shown a desire to play that role. And quite to the contrary, if I think about his comments on what happened in Charlottesville, and even his invisibility in the wake of what happened to George Floyd and in Minneapolis, he's ill-equipped, and he seems to not have the desire to want to be the healer and the leader that we so desperately need. So the Achilles heel that he has had on race for all of these decades is now it's now exacerbated because of his inability to lead and his unwillingness to lead on issues that matter so much in this moment and in this time. And that's sad. It's very sad.
Rendell Pinkett was the winner of The Apprentice in 2005, and he joined us from Somerset, New Jersey.